And we are live.
Woo! Woo!
The reunion. It's been like a long time, brother.
It has.
It really has.
Long time.
It's been a long time. And as you can see, we're hanging out at my basement.
His wannabe man cave.
Yeah, it's my man cave basement. So
I know we're beer drinkers, but
today we toasted a little bit of Sam Houston.
it's been a while. So
Yeah. In case you didn't know who we are beer drinkers with a Bible fetish.
Yep. I am Michael.
And I'm Jeff. And it's been quite a while since we've actually done a show. I think since just before Christmas of last year.
Yeah. It's been
actually.
a while.
You know, we were doing them regularly once a week, and we're hoping to get back into that.
Yep.
So start doing them a little regularly, pick a night, and start doing them.
Life will slow down toward the end of the year for me, so
yeah,
that'll help. But
so
on that, busy.
It has. It's been. Well, I think everybody's been kind of busy. It has with the season, and then went through the holidays, and just a lot of life changes lately. That's why we haven't been out there. But you can find us. I mean, if you're really wandering out there, you can find us on podcaster apps. I've seen us on podcaster apps. Or on Facebook. I get that on Facebook. Yeah. We have the website, beerdrinkerswiththebiblefetish.com.
YouTube's got everything.
YouTube's got it all. We're on Spotify. I think we're on Spotify now.
Did you get it on there?
Yep. I think we're on Spotify.
I know. You said iTunes.
We're on iTunes.
Yeah.
So we're kind of all over the place if you want to find us.
Yeah. But if not, you can always send us a message. We'll let you know where they are. So
yeah.
we can send you links.
Absolutely. Patreon. We're on Patreon.
Are we still on there?
Yeah, we're still on Patreon.
Still trying to get your jet?
So I still want my jet. We still actually have. I still have a GoFundMe actually for the jet.
So I came up with a proposal for you actually about this the other day.
What's that?
I was thinking about your jet because Copeland, he's made the news about him yelling at the one reporter.
Yeah, well, he's got 3 jets.
Well, so what I'm thinking is in a spirit of humility for Copeland.
Okay.
He should donate you a jet.
You know what? We should email him. I'm going to show him that we've had this for a long time. We're doing this podcast.
It's not
and we've
something
been looking for it.
I think it's an answer to prayer.
I think it is.
If he donates you
that is a great idea.
He'll get the tax write-off, right?
Yes.
And
of course, I probably got to pay taxes on getting a jet, but
possibly there probably is that.
So I have to just start a 501c3 before I do it.
Maybe you make a partnership in something so that when he donates it, it's his basis in the loan.
There you go.
For the company that you create.
I like the idea.
And then he gets a large basis in there, and then after the taxes, eat it out.
And he can use it whenever he wants.
Right. But you have your private jet.
Whenever he wants to come to Vegas or something, he's got a jet here. It's waiting for him.
Right.
You
can use it when you need to. You just pay for the fuel and the pilot.
Yeah.
You have your fees for it.
Yeah. Whatever that costs. I'm sure that's like more than I make probably.
Yeah. It's probably 2 arms and 2 legs.
Probably.
Yeah, but I think it might get some goodwill after all the shit he put himself through. I think that might be some goodwill. Yeah. Hey Copeland, if you're listening,
then a jet.
This guy needs a jet.
A jet. From the jet, really, what I'd like to do though is sell the jet so I can get that space station.
Well, I thought you wanted both.
Well, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The jet's a lot more expensive in maintenance. The space station you could probably make money off of with Russia.
Yeah. I think a space station would be cool, though, because, we still want to brew that holy water.
Right. We need the holy water in space.
Yes. We still got to brew some holy
closer
water.
to God.
Yes.
Yeah. That's still me.
You imagine. Oh, by the way, what we do, if you're first-time listener, long-time listener, thank you. What we do is we generally bring a couple beers. We talk about the news, just kind of bullshit, what's going on, and drink beer and rate the beers.
And ramble. And we hope you enjoy our ramblings.
And we ramble, which is pretty much every podcast out there. That's kind of what a podcast is.
That's pretty much what talk shows are. Talk radio.
Just ramble.
Yeah.
Yep. So our first beer, we're doing 2 tonight. Our first beer is going to be a lighter beer. It is the... Here, I'm going to put it on camera so you guys can actually see it.
Oop, the light's really getting it. You're going to have to get closer.
I'm going to have to get closer.
We're in camping chairs that are old, so we're really sunk in. Oh, there it is. There it is. There we go.
All right. I don't even know if I can say this name. It's a Weinherrstaffener.
Whoa.
It is they pride themselves at being the world's oldest brewery.
Well, mine is shaken.
Where's this stuff from? It is from Germany. Mm-hmm. All right, I've got to hit up a buddy of mine because remember I did that show last year from Germany when I was there. So we actually did one of these podcasts. I was in Germany. So I'm going to have to hit... Oh, this thing's foaming everywhere.
No, that's why I drink it. I had to down a bunch of mine just to stop it, and it's still going. Look, mine's still foaming.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. You shook these things up, man. He was
I never shook them up.
He must have been partying and just shaking them on a Friday night.
I did not shake these at all. There must have been a lot of yeast and sugar in these things left.
I do not believe you. So, I've had one of theirs before. I've actually
can you hear it? Can you hear it fizzing?
Yeah, it's in my headphones.
Fizz.
You know, you could just put your mouth on it and drink it.
There it goes.
He's wasting it. Like, he could just drink
it.
But he's not.
There it goes.
He's out of drinking beer. You just wasted all that beer on the floor.
Look at this shit, man. It's actually pretty good, though.
It really is. It's a really good beer. That's what I'm telling you. Just to drink it.
It's kind of a sweet beer, isn't it?
Dude, take your hand off it and just put it in your mouth. Put it in your mouth. There you go. Chug, 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 chug. He's so out of practice. And he drinks more than I do. There you go. That should be
I think I actually had this when I was in Germany.
Cheers, by the way.
Cheers. All right. It's not too bad. Made a freaking mess everywhere, but I'm in my basement. I'm going to have the house cleaner come in here and clean the basement up.
You mean the dog?
Polish those bottles off in the back, too.
Uh-huh.
So
it's called the dog.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the dog will sit and drink all that up, too.
Lick it all up.
So it's a good thing I got a plastic floor.
That's what happens when you're in a basement. The floor.
Yeah, we usually do this at my office, is what we've been in the past, but we've kind of relocated. We're at the house now. So I set up a little studio here at the house.
Something different.
You can see in my basement here. So what do you think of my basement anyway? What do you think of that?
I think it looks way too normal.
Looks way too what?
Normal.
Normal?
Normal.
Well, we can do it in my other basement next week.
You realize normal people scare me.
We'll do it in my other basement next week. I got one with a Jeep, with Jeep lights and stuff.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've taken you on the tour in that basement, haven't I?
Yeah, you have.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that one next week.
Okay.
We can move right over to it here pretty quick. I bet I can just pull it right in.
Yeah. or we could just stay with this normal nonsense. We're already normal. We might as well just go with it and be normal the whole
Really?
time.
You think that much alcohol in the back and all that's normal?
Yeah, because that's pretty much what normal in society would be, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the normal cliche, like man cave or bar.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe a cigar lounge.
Cigar lounge. I can see
like
that. That's what we need. We need cigars. We need to sit here with a couple cigars while we're at it.
Yeah.
We got some whiskey. We got
my
beer.
chest cold clears up, absolutely.
Get a cigar.
Right now, I'd just be hacking. I'm trying to get back to running, and I can't because my lungs are all clipped.
That's right. You haven't been in the gym in a long time, have you?
No. I've been stuck, so life update, just 2 jobs in school full time and taking care of a wife and baby, so time is strapped.
Yeah.
Needless to say.
Well, that makes sense.
So,
I mean,
but
so life is are you getting ready to graduate soon? What's going on?
October. So I'll be done. Let me put it this way, the program I'm in, I have to be done by October 31st.
Why is that?
So just with my loans run out, money, school, I've got 4 classes left. So it's totally possible. Like, it's not one of those like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to finish by then.
Yeah.
But I've got to cram a capstone class into what would be a normal schedule.
What's a capstone class?
It's basically a paper that summarizes everything you've learned.
Okay.
It's basically the way it's been described. So obviously anyone who's gone through this can correct me, but the way it's been described to me is everything you've learned over the past, through your program, 4 years of schooling, mainly 2 for your focus. They want to know that you're competent you're proficient in what you're doing. You're proficient in what you're doing. So there's this long, like basically research paper you have to put together.
Okay.
And it's done in sections, and you have to put it all together. And as you go through it, if you put it all together, it'll show that you're competent in what you're doing, and then you have to submit it.
Sounds like every theology class I've had to do.
Well, that's pretty much. I mean, that's how every class has been with the way the tests have been. But then this kind of summarizes everything you've learned. The cool thing about the program I'm in is if I get it turned in by September 30th, so I've got 3 classes to finish and write that paper. If I get all of that done by September 30th, I get one, because you're allowed 1 revision. But because I'm going to be applying for a 30-day extension into October, if I need it, like if I started this in October 1st, basically if I start October 1st, I got to pay for a whole new semester. That's why I have to finish by October 31st.
Yeah.
It gives me a 30-day extension just to do this paper. But if I get it turned in before September 30th, I'll get it back, and I'll be allowed one revision.
Now, is this getting your 4-year or 2-year?
It's my 4-year.
4-year. Nice.
Yeah, it'll actually be my bachelor's.
Nice, so dude. Congratulations, man.
So, thank you. So, it's kind of like that home stretch, right? It's 3 classes and a capstone.
Yeah.
And you just got to kind of, at this point, it was like Matt, who's been on this show, like, if you remember this time last year, he was pulling his hair out. He was
scrambling.
Time,
and he's done, by the way. Matt has graduated.
He did. And he was in that same boat, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was trying to get that done, then he was trying to get his boards done. It was just like that home stretch. Like, you're almost done with it all. So you just kind of like, you forsake your life just to be like, I want to be done.
But he's done. So, I mean, good for him. Cheers to Matt. I mean,
absolutely. And now he's just grinding. He's working his butt
off. Now he's grinding.
And
he's working. And so he's having a good time. Next week, I'll see Matt. We're doing a local Burning Man.
Oh, that's right.
I'll be at that.
Is that the one in L.A.?
No, the L.A. one I did a couple months ago.
That's right. Which one? Where's this one?
This one's the Vegas one. It's in Beatty.
Okay, so you're going up a little bit up north.
Going a little bit up north, yeah, about 2 hours up. Yes, I might be a Bible follower. I might be a Christian, but yes, I still go to Burning Man. Deal with it. And I drink beer.
Unfortunately,
and whiskey.
He's partially nude when he's there, so that's the thing you have to deal with.
Partially. Sometimes fully.
Like I said, blinders, sunglasses.
Hey, who cares?
Dark sunglasses.
Hey, you know what? In Christ's day, people walked around nude.
Listen, it's not the
Maybe
issue.
because they were poor, but they still walked around nude.
Listen. This is not about you being naked. Well, it isn't. It isn't. It's not about the idea of you being naked. It's the idea that we have to see you naked.
Hey, well, that's the way it goes, man.
I know. But I've seen you naked.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to save all those people out there.
Yeah. For you guys, that's because we've been to Tacopa.
I'm your friend.
Yeah.
I can deal with it. These people are not your friends. Well, they might be.
They might be.
Hopefully they're hecklers.
Hey, heckle all you want, man. I'm okay with it.
I don't see anyone on there. Come on, people. You should be talking mad trash to us.
Yeah, we don't mind.
I know.
You can jump on here, say whatever you want. Of course, a lot of people didn't know what was going on. This was spur of the moment.
It was. Trolls are always welcome. Always.
Oh, it was funny, too, because Matt and I, we got a troll one night, and it was interesting. It was a guy that really believes in replacement theology. And he kept talking about that and harping on it and wanting to throw verses at me, and I was started to throw him back. And finally I said, you know what, we'll deal with this afterwards. Because it wasn't one of those conversations you weren't going to win, right? So Matt and I were talking about it, and he was quoting Revelation, he was quoting some other parts of it, and as you know, I've studied Revelation extensively. I've got my books almost done, by the way.
Nice.
In fact, it is done. I'm just revising it now. So I've got that done on Revelation, and this guy wanted to try to debate stuff, and you can tell he wasn't that knowledgeable. It was just what he'd been thrown out or something.
He listened to a couple of conferences, and he was
probably
an expert.
And if you look at it, the shooting that happened in San Diego in the synagogue was the same thing. The guy believed in replacement theology. When we looked at that, remember the guy that walked in a month or two ago and shot all those people up, all in the Jewish synagogue. He believed in replacement theology and blamed them for killing Christ. And the church had to look at that and say, you know, they had to reflect back, go, did we create this? Well, yes, you did.
Well, Luther also believed in that.
That's right. Luther was an ass for doing that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when you look at this through history, it's like people that have done that have been very, very anti-Semitic. It's not the way to be.
No. It's an unfortunate reality of the world we live in.
It is.
So,
and after doing an extensive study of Revelation, it specifically talks about God's people, and that's not the church. He's talking about the Jewish nation. They are separated in there.
I totally get it. However, you get people who read something and
exactly,
you find a group, and it's a double negative. Like I was talking to a friend at work today about. There's a risk involved with freedom.
Uh-huh.
Freedom is risky, right? And we are pretty much in a state where we're just trying to take risk out of everything.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Like we're just
security. People want security. They don't want risk.
It came from the conversation of earlier in this week. Unfortunately, a line drive baseball hit a small child in the front row, just down the.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, it's been a thing.
I'm not huge into baseball, but really.
So they were talking about it.
Did it kill him, hurt him, injure him?
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
Like, there was a line drive that hit a kid, and the ball player ended up breaking down because he's got small children. Get it. Like, terrible thing that happened. But now there's these ton calls. We need nets all the way down to the end field. Like, everything's going on. The analogy is like, when something bad happens, we regulate it everywhere else. Why are we not doing it in baseball? Mm-hmm. Understand. I always want to keep kids safe. Get it. Totally understand. But then there's the other side of me that's like, how many times has this happened?
Yeah.
Okay. To my recollection, once. Because the last time I remember a child being endangered, it was a baseball bat being flying down the first, third baseline, and Dad, out of nowhere, freaking grabbed the bat and stopped it from hitting his kid.
Well, you look at hockey nowadays with the puck.
Well, they've got nets around the end.
Yeah.
And that's where I do understand. Like, in baseball, there is some netting for protection.
And I get that, especially around the home plate area.
But then, like, there was one talk show out here that they were talking about the issue, and he was bringing it up. He's like, if you put netting up, one of the things that go away with baseball is
what about the idea of catching a ball in the stands?
You have those sections where they catch foul balls.
Exactly.
You have Derek Jeter's famous moment of diving over and catching a ball.
Yes.
You also have guys that play catch with people on the sidelines, right? When they're warming up. You've got all these different little aspects, autograph signing, where guys go down there and they sign autographs.
I mean, it gets the crowd involved. It gets the spectators involved.
So then there's that whole aspect of the game that goes away for safety. So it's just it's an interesting conversation. But then it brought up the idea of, like, there is risk in freedom, and you're never fully going to get, if you want freedom.
Here's the risk. There's risk in being born.
Well, there's risk in life.
That's what I mean. Once you're born, it's a risk all the way through.
But we try to control life, and we try to
we think we can control. We think we control.
We think we can legislate safety.
Yeah, and you can't.
No, like it's always interesting. And one of the libertarian arguments that's always made is there's been a research study that shows safety belts have actually increased traffic accidents.
Really?
And so
why? I mean, what's the reason behind that?
So the study that's been done, and there's been a few of these, basically the idea that comes is people.
I'm going to move this up here.
Okay.
Boom. There we go.
People have a false sense of security by wearing a safety belt.
It makes sense.
So therefore, they're riskier drivers, and because they have a false sense of security, which caused them to be riskier drivers, they cause more accidents.
Yeah. Whereas that makes complete sense.
People who don't wear seatbelts, don't have a false sense of security, are more cautious drivers. So safety belts, counterintuitively, actually put us more at risk because people are more risky. Mm-hmm. That's not to say that safety belts don't cause and do a ton of safety features, right? Like, I would always advocate wearing a safety belt.
Well, you can say that because I came from the auto industry, the background. Airbags kind of did the same thing, where airbags gave people a kind of a false sense of security that I don't need a safety belt because I have an airbag. Right. And yet it's complete opposite. It'll actually jack you up more without the safety belt.
If you don't wear the safety belt.
But it still gave people a false sense of security. Every time you put a security layer up on something, people get a false sense. Instead of looking out for their own self-interest, they start relying on something else.
Yeah. No, and that's where it's like, you're never going to fully get away with it because there's always going to be unintended consequences to something. So it's like, do I think that we should get rid of the safety belt laws? No. But there is that added risk that we've added to the roads where we made roads more riskier.
I always just look at it as it's just weeding out stupid people. But I mean, that's just my opinion. Well, I mean, I'm probably going to get all kinds of comments on that.
Listen, I mean, if we want to go survival of the fittest in terms of weeding out people, then we need a whole lot more freedom in this country.
Yeah, just weed out the stupid people. You know what? I remember years ago, on a fan belt for a car. You're going to replace it, right?
Oh, you've told me about this.
It actually says, number one direction, turn the engine off. Okay, if you need that, we need to remove it. Seriously, just so you lose a finger because you're stupid. I'm sorry. If you have to be told to turn the engine off to replace your fan belt, then we don't need you. But
there's two situations in that. One, somebody actually tried to change their fan belt.
Yeah.
And sued. Yeah. And sued, so they added it. Or two, it's an overcautious lawyer that was like, some idiot
is going to do
this, and we need to put it on a label.
Well, don't use your hairdryer or curling iron in the shower. It's actually on there if you read the things. Come on. It's just stupid things. It's like, if you need these type of directions, I'm sorry, move. Go. We need to put all of you guys on an island.
Or we just get rid of all warning labels and we let nature take its course.
That would be fine by me. You know what? Because if you're that stupid, then let nature take its course.
I'm fully of, as much as I love Jesus, I'm all about natural selection.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be on me. It should be on you. But then again, I'm also an advocate of freedom.
Yeah.
Penn Jillette says it best. Anytime there's legislation or anytime an issue comes up, he always asks himself, will this make us more free or less free?
It's pretty much always less. You can almost say that almost virtually every time.
True, but then it's in some cases, is the risk worth the reward? There's some issues in which, will this help us, will this not? And you look at it.
If it helps society as a whole, maybe moves forward, does something like that. But when you get some of the stupid things what's going on, I'm sorry. And we've got a lot of attorney friends and stuff. Love you guys. But there's some stupid shit that they come up with. Some of these lawsuits, like the fan belt. If somebody's sued for that, I'm sorry. You know what? That should be just like, wait, you did what? You left the motor running and tried to... No, we're just going to throw this one out for stupidity.
But see...
And you, Mr. Attorney, we're going to debar you because you're an idiot too.
See, here's my take on all that. I think you should be able to sue for whatever you want. Right? You want to sue someone...
But if you lose, you pay the other guy's fees.
See, and that's where I would go with it.
Yes.
Is you are free... If you stuck your hand in an engine and lost a finger because you forgot to turn it off, change a fan belt, go see a jury. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe in the American justice system, and I fully believe that the American people will look at you and be like, that 12 people will look at this case and be like, so you want us to reward your client because he forgot to turn the engine on, or forgot to turn the engine off.
Yeah.
And you want us to reward that guy for being an idiot. Right? And the prosecutor, defending attorney in the civil case will be able to look at the jury and say, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
Don't give him money for being stupid.
Yeah.
He wants us to put a warning label that he should... I'm sorry. Wouldn't you all know that you should turn your... You got to turn the engine off to put gas in the car. Right? Wouldn't you know you need to turn the engine off to change a fan belt that's moving? At what point you're looking at your engine with the fan belt moving going... It's probably a good idea to shut this off because it's probably hurt.
Hey, Skeeter, I got this great idea. Why don't you just reach in there and grab it real fast and pull it off the belt? I bet it'll twist itself right off of there. Here's your sign.
Right, there you go. But it's one of those things, I do believe that a lawyer should be allowed to sue. I believe that the American people should have that right to take it to civil court.
And I'll agree with you, but I think that if you lose, though, you've got to pay the other guy's fees.
Correct. And then at that point, in anything that you're paying the other attorney, you're paying you're paying attorney costs and court costs.
Yeah. Because there's no reason for the taxpayer to pay all your shit because you just put a frivolous lawsuit.
Correct. In those cases, I think that would weed out a lot of things. So now lawyers are going to think twice about do I really want to take this one to court? The hot coffee McDonald's one was an extenuating circumstance. Adam Ruins Everything did a great job.
Yeah, when you actually read the whole case, there's a lot more to
it. And it wasn't because she said, it literally was McDonald's being assholes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that case was not about a woman spilling coffee on her lap.
But when you get cases like somebody breaks into a house, and we've all heard this one, breaks into a house and trips and falls, and then sues the homeowner for leaving the kid's toy out because they tripped and fell. No, I'm sorry. You have no right to sue. First off, you're in a criminal act. That should be taken away.
So they have, to address that, in most states, I don't think all have done it yet, because I don't think it's an issue in most states, but in California, for instance, they've changed the law where if you're in the process of committing a criminal act, you can't sue the other party.
That's good.
Okay, so
California been in one state I would have thought would never get rid of that, but that's surprising.
California was.
Yeah,
so if you're breaking and entering, and you hurt yourself, well, you were in the process of criminal act. You're not allowed to sue the homeowner. Oh, I punched the glass in and I broke my arm, so I'm going to sue him. No. You broke into their property.
So I read a case earlier that a judge, this is in British Columbia, so up in Canada. You know, Canada's about as liberal as they come. So I read this case.
I don't think they're that liberal.
Oh, they're getting there. I read this case, though, that this 14-year-old, 14, is wanting to do the transgender stuff. And it has been doing the
hormone therapy.
Hormone therapy. And the father is adamantly against it. It's a female, and she wants to become a man at 14. First off, I personally think that's very young to make that decision, and that should be something. If you can't drink until you're 21, and you can't vote until you're 18, and you can't do things until you're a certain age, that should be one of them. I personally think that should be a regulation.
I don't disagree.
And so this girl's 14. So the judge recently told the father that her name is Maxine. That's her God-given name. That's the name she was given. That's what they gave. And she wants to go by Max. Thinks she identifies as a boy. So at this point in time, the father was actually told by a judge, if you ever refer to her by the pronoun of a female or a male, we will have you arrested, or a female, we will have you arrested.
Yeah, that goes back to the case. That goes back to the law that Jordan Peterson got in trouble for. That you have to identify people by the pronoun of their choosing, and if you misgender, then it's against the law.
But to me, this is a 14-year-old that's still under your guidance. This is a child, and the state is now telling you that how you're going to raise this child. You know, if that's the case, here you go, state, take over. She's all yours. You know, I mean, come on, this is stupid. You can't even raise your own children anymore in this society. It's just become dumb. And I don't have a problem if she is going through a dilemma in her life and thinks, I'm about to lose my microphone here, thinks that she, you know, at this point in her life, thinks that she wants to identify that way. I have no problem with that. Because, I mean, I have friends. You know that. We have friends that have done that. And I don't have no problem. But at 14 years old that's where I have the problem. And the father being regulated on this.
Well, the pronoun thing, I forgot the name of the law.
I'm just going to hold this for a minute.
Yeah, while you get that fixed.
Yeah.
You want me to hold it while you do that? Here, let me have your mic.
Okay, thank you.
Let me have your mic. There you go. I got the mic.
The pronoun thing, go ahead.
So, the pronoun thing, I remember following a case with Jordan Peterson about it. Now, he was doing it for... He had more of a political reason for why he was up against the bill, but it brought light to it of this case, because these are kind of the issues it's having, which there's a lot of cases where you may not. What if somebody doesn't know?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that thing doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work upside down.
No.
It comes down to misgendering somebody you don't know.
Okay.
You know, and there's a lot of times where I think people would unintentionally possibly misgender somebody, you know?
If it's unintentional, it's unintentional. You can't blame somebody for that.
That's where, when you're legislating it, right? Legislation, you're blind in the eyes of the law, so if it's unintentional, it's unintentional, but if someone files a case against you, they file a case against you.
But this is where we talk about legislation. You know, legislation is just getting so involved, it's taking away all these freedoms that...
Well... So I have a different take on that, right? Like, I don't think you should legislate that, but my whole thing with it is, why the fuck do you care? Like, the whole misgender thing is giving, in my view, like, my opinion is, if you are so worried about what society thinks about you, that's a you thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're doing what you feel is right, and your friends are supporting you, and they're encouraging you, and they're all on board with you, fuck society.
You know what? Like, I think we should start a lawsuit against the government because we call ourselves Christians, right? But to identify as that anymore nowadays, you're almost like people get mad at you, the news media ignores you, the government. I think we need to come up with an identification of that and just sue the shit out of everybody.
Well, what do you think? So it's funny. Like, I went through this in my early 20s where there was a period of my life when I was like, I'm not going to identify as Christian because I didn't like what the label was.
Yeah.
But from a practice standpoint, that's exactly what I was. Mm-hmm. But I didn't like the connotation that the word Christian had. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I will take the bad with the good. Because Christian, by definition, means some follower of Christ.
Yeah, yeah.
Christ follower. So that's what I do. That's how I live my life. That's how I'm going to identify myself. And if I got to take the bad, then I got to take the bad. Well, whatever. I know that's not like.
But you're a Christ follower. You drink beer and whiskey.
And say fuck and shit.
Damn, dude. Really? You just said fuck. You're not supposed to do that.
Listen.
Ask the Baptists.
The Bible doesn't say you can't use specific words. The Bible says you must speak in an uplifting manner. That you should not speak in a oh, crap. This is what happens when you drink. You forget Scripture. This is why the Bible says you must keep a sober mind.
It also tells us to enjoy life.
It does, but not to be drunk with wine.
Yeah.
And
we're not drinking wine.
That's true. We're drinking beer.
And whiskey.
Yeah, that's true. So, but
this just right here.
You're supposed to speak in an uplifting manner. You're not supposed to speak in a negatory manner.
From heaven, right here.
Hey, it absolutely is. I fully believe there will be alcohol in heaven. So,
I hope so. I really do.
I fully believe.
I hope so. Maybe the first heaven. The second heaven, maybe not.
Why not? Why would we not enjoy?
Because you forget everything about the world. Everything's forgotten in the second heaven.
Yeah, but we're still.
If you study Revelation, everything is forgotten in the second one.
But we're still going to work. So how do you know we're not going to enjoy the fruits of our labor?
Maybe.
God created alcohol on earth. That doesn't mean that He didn't create alcohol for eternity.
Be nice. I hope there's some beer.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what? I always said, you know what I want? As long as I make it to heaven, I want a fishing reel and a cabin and a brewery on the outskirt. I'm okay with that. I will sit and keep a chair open every now and then when Christ wants to come and visit from the inner city area. He can come and visit me. I'm right here. Anytime you want to come out, I'll catch you a fish. We'll sit around and drink some beer. We'll have some great conversation.
Hey, as long as
that would be awesome.
As long as I got a shack on the ocean so that I can surf every morning, I'm happy.
There you go.
That's all I need. Because Jesus is light in the day, because there's no sun.
I'm out in the Ozarks, man.
Hey, you can be in the Ozarks. I want to be right on the...
I want the Gators and the Ozarks,
that's
man.
Fine. That's fine. You can be out there.
The sad part is I'm from Cali on the beach. I just like the Gators and the Ozarks.
Hey, you can go out there. You can always move down to Louisiana.
Yeah, there you go, man.
But, no, I mean, going back to the idea of, like, I guess the world I grew up in was stop giving stock to people who... Stop giving power to people who don't care about you.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, if you're so worried about what other people think, you're giving them power over you. And stop.
Which makes you more powerless.
Correct, because you're giving them power to dictate how you feel.
That's right. And that makes you powerless. You got to stop doing that shit.
I was taught by people older than me when I was younger, stop giving a fuck about what other people think about you. Mm-hmm. Like, when I have a problem with you, that's an issue, because I'm your friend. But if I don't have a problem with you, and it's somebody you don't know, fuck that person.
So who gives a shit?
Right?
I agree. Who gives a shit?
They're an asshole. Like, let's just go back to calling people what they are. Assholes.
It's funny. Oh, that's not PC anymore. Anyway.
Now we have to label everybody with some...
When my kids growing up, both of them, I always told them that growing up. I said, dress how you want, be how you want, and don't give a crap what other people think. I've always told them that. Don't try to conform to everybody else just to be accepted. I raised them that way. And I always told them, too, one of the biggest things was the friends that hang around. I said, I always be mindful of the people you hang around, because what they're doing, you will do. In other words, if you have a friend that's doing something bad that you don't approve of, drugs, alcohol, whatever else that you don't think is right, and I'm going to get upset with you for doing this, I'm going to tell you peer pressure will eventually make you do it.
Yep.
And no, I would never do that. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you that's... I've been through this. I already know. But that's funny. Kids think that everything's new. Everything they do is new. So
the wise words of Solomon, there's nothing new under the sun.
So the wife and I were just talking about it the other day. I came from the punk rock scene years ago. And we thought, and you know this because you know this scene, we thought we were different back in the early 80s, late 70s. We were different. We were breaking from society and everything else. Yet... And being unconformist, basically. I mean, that was the whole idea. We wanted to be...
Ready? Ready? I got a quote for you.
What?
You were conforming to the ways of non-conformity.
That's it. Exactly. And that's what I was getting at. Everything we did, we conformed to each other.
Correct.
And we were just like each other to be accepted among each other.
You were conforming to the ways of non-conformity. You were still a conformist.
Yes.
But your conformity was to a non-conformist ideal.
Yes.
But you were still conforming to an ideal.
Uh-huh.
It just happens to be different. Like, this is normal, right? But it's normal to a certain select group of people.
Yes.
It's not normal to all of society.
Yeah.
It's an ideal that we quote-unquote deem as normal, but it's an ideal. And so what are you... So I went to punk rock bowling this weekend, right? Last year...
Did you go?
I did. I went to one day.
Okay.
I got to see the
So I was going to hit you up to see if you wanted to go.
I went to this... I got to see
Saturday?
the Descendants.
That's when I thought about going Saturday.
Sunday. No, I went Sunday.
So, okay, I was going to go Saturday.
So Saturday, interesting enough, sold out. It was Rancid that night.
Yes, that's
sold
what I
out.
wanted to see.
Rancid's awesome if you've never seen them.
There was tickets available the week before, though.
Oh, no, they were available that week, but they sold out the day of.
Okay.
That day, they sold out. Interesting fact, Tim Armstrong of Rancid.
Yeah?
Fuck, I feel old. He's 53 years old. God damn. 53. The lead singer of Rancid is 53 years old.
Yeah?
Granted, the lead singer of Descendants is 56. Fuck, I feel old.
You do realize these are my bands that I grew up with. You know how old I am, right?
Yes. I know, you just turned 50.
Actually, I'm 51 now.
Oh, fuck.
52 this September. So, see, I'm the same age as these guys.
Stop. I know. Okay, so I saw the Vandals. This is where the punk rock scene is gone.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it, which... Gray, right? Like, gray. You can see it.
I have no gray. I don't have gray. It's just... You know what it is? It's... I say this is just ultra blonde.
Oh, okay. Ultra blonde.
It's ultra blonde.
So, anyway... The guitar player for the Vandals is on stage.
Yeah.
And my wife went with me, and I looked at her.
Did she really?
Yeah, Corey went.
Nice.
So we're there. So not the lead singer, the guitar player. And granted, if you ever get a chance to see the Vandals, go. I don't care if you don't like punk rock. Go see the Vandals for the entertainment value. They're hysterical. They're so hysterical. I looked at the wife with the guitar player, and I'm like, God, I hope he's a grandpa.
Why would you say that?
Because he's hysterical.
Oh, like that way he can be entertaining to the
so
kids.
Funny. It's so good. Like, you just look at the man and you're like, the only thing missing on this stage right now
is your grandkids.
Are your grandkids running around? Like,
that's awesome.
Like, with everything going on and the trash talking between the lead singer and him, they both needed their grandkids running around stage, dancing and hooting and hollering. And it would, and you know what the funny thing is? The crowd would have loved it.
Yeah.
The crowd would have absolutely ate it up.
Yeah.
But
punk rockers are not like the stereotype of, especially punk rock has from my day, where we were the rebels, we were the ones that tore shit up, they don't have that reputation at all anymore. That's just...
Well, so it's funny. So this weekend, I got... Last year, I wore the kilt, the tie, the vest.
Okay.
And I got all dressed up with the shoes, but I had the kilt on. This year, fuck ton of kilts.
Was it really?
Fuck ton of kilts.
Wow.
So...
Yeah, because I did my kilt last year, too.
You're right. We both went in our kilts. So this year, I went...
Yes, I wear a kilt. I love kilts.
So this year, I decided... I was trying to think of... What the fuck can I wear that's different?
Okay.
Right? Like, that's the idea if you're going to go to a rebellious thing.
Bright fucking pink suit.
Well, that's actually not a bad idea. It's really not a bad idea.
Right, bright fucking pink or something with dollar bills on it.
The problem with pink is pink's still out of the norm, so it's kind of acceptable. So I went, granted, Monday was ska day.
Okay.
Okay, Monday was ska day. The specials for the first time. The Hive showed up from Sweden. Teenage Bottle Rocket closed the small stage. Just Teenage Bottle Rocket's not really ska, but there were a ton of ska bands on Monday that closed it out. So I was like,
ska.
I'm not a rude boy, but I'm gonna go rude boy style. So I went with my suit pants, plaid vest, tie, and a short sleeve white shirt. And then my hat.
Okay.
But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go completely different. And it was funny. At one point, I was watching Street Dogs, which you would love. It's a Boston band.
Okay.
The founder of the band was actually one of the founders of Dropkick Murphy.
Oh, really?
Left to become a fireman.
Interesting.
Because he wanted to be a fireman. Went and did that for a few years, and then when he came back, obviously Dropkick had taken off at that point, so he couldn't rejoin, so he started a new band. They're still friends, and everything's acclimal, like they hang out and whatnot, but awesome band. So I was watching them, but I really wanted to see the Descendants. I'd never seen the Descendants, that's why I went. Really wanted to see them. I got to see the Adolescents, the Vandals, the Descendants, and a band I didn't expect to fall in love with Street Dogs. But apparently, as I'm walking out to go grab my spot by the Descendants to get close, because they had 2 stages this year.
Okay.
So
I read that. I read they're having the small stage and big stage or something.
You remember last year where the merch area was?
Yes.
It goes all the way down, and there's a stage at the end of the street now.
Nice.
With a vendor area over there.
Nice. Okay.
So like they've really expanded, and they have the second stage. So the second stage runs while the other stage is getting ready. So as Street Dogs were finishing up, I ran over. Well, I had to pee, so I ran over to use the bathroom and grab a seat for the Descendants, so I could stand a little bit closer because all the crowd was watching Street Dogs. But apparently, as I was walking away, because I was all dressed up, the wife was like, man, as you were walking away, a bunch of guys were talking trash to you. I didn't hear any of it. Because in my head, I had to pee. I had one thing on my mind. Get to the fucking bathroom.
Because you didn't conform.
Dude, I had to get to the fucking bathroom. I did not give a shit. And all of a sudden, the wife's telling me,
That's
as
why
she
you
goes,
need
she's
a
like,
kilt and an empty beer bottle.
yeah, but the problem is everyone's wearing kilts. So now you're just conforming.
No, I'm talking to pee. Kilt and an empty beer bottle.
True. Very true. But I was running to the bathroom. But I didn't hear the guys. But apparently there was this group of punk rockers, right? Leather jackets, mohawk, plaid pants, the whole nine, all done up. That according to the wife, were just dogging me the whole way through the crowd as I was walking over the sentence. And she told me afterwards, and I was like, well, that sounds about right, because I didn't conform to their ideal of what punk rock was.
Yeah.
But the problem is like, there's an outstanding moment that I specifically remember reading an article about when I was a kid from the punk rock moment. There was a punk rocker in the punk scene in the 90s who got into a debate with Bill Clinton. And in order to get in the debate, he put a suit on.
Okay.
Because he knew if he went in his punk garb,
yeah,
there's no way he's getting into the...
Well, they wouldn't take him serious either.
Correct. There's no way he's going to get in.
Yeah.
So he put a suit on, walked in, got in, and got approved to ask a question to Bill Clinton on national television. And it was this defining moment from what I read in the 90s of this punk rocker who actually got one of his ideas asked to what became a 2-term president. Right? So, like, from the punk rock community, they were all just like, he did it. Like, from a public standpoint, that's an awesome feat. Like, to get in and get asked a question and actually be able to ask your question and get a response from somebody in 1991 who eventually became president for 8 years.
Yeah.
Like, granted, I'm sure it didn't do anything in terms of Bill Clinton's thinking and policies or anything of that nature, but he got in and he got accepted. To the point now when I listen to Henry Rollins no longer curses. He dresses a specific way because he doesn't want anyone to have a reason to discount what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, if you've ever, and I highly encourage if anyone's never listened to Henry Rollins, Joe Rogan interviews, his college speeches, they're all on YouTube. They're great. They're about an hour long. Awesome speeches. But he talks about he dresses a certain way now, he speaks a certain way, and he uses a certain language because he doesn't want people to discount his ideas. So he's taking away every reason they have to discount his ideas. Mm-hmm. So he would no longer fit to that nonconformist ideal anymore.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to take everything that he learned in that punk rock community
and
take it forward, but in order to do that, he has to present himself in a different way.
Let's take a break real quick.
Beer?
No, I'm done. Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah, let's rate them. Okay, what we do, since we haven't done this in a long time, we rate it between 1 and
5.
5.
Oh, no.
It's just thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
So it's either like they can get a full 2 thumbs up, a half, a quarter, none.
You get 2 to 0.
Yes, you basically get 0 to 2.
Yeah.
So I would actually, this one isn't too bad. It's kind of got a sweet taste to it, especially at first. I'm guessing, and because I brew beer, that, remember, it had all that foam.
Yeah.
So if you have, the whole idea to get carbonation, if you're not a brewer or don't know, is if you have live yeast that's still in your bottle, you pour the sugar in there, and the sugar now takes the yeast, and yeast belch CO2 and piss alcohol. That's what yeast does. It's a live organism, right? So it dies over that next week or two. Well, it belches all the CO2. CO2 is your thing. Now, maybe they're charging it with it and adding sugar. There are some manufacturers that do, some breweries that do that. The natural way would be to leave yeast live, put sugar in it, and if you put more yeast in it, a little bit more yeast, a little bit more sugar, you're going to wind up with a lot of carbonation. It's going to do exactly what it did.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at, that maybe that's what they do. Maybe they just inject it with a whole bunch and add sugar to it like some breweries do because it's cheaper. But who knows? I think it had a lot. I didn't like that part when we opened it because these were not shaken. We just carried them up. You saw we just carried them up from my fridge.
He was... Crap, I forgot his name. He was pulling Jerry Lee Lewis with it.
Shaking the shit out of him?
Shake, rattle, and roll.
Balls of fire.
Shake. Oh, no. Shake, rattle, and roll was in Jerry Lee Lewis. Who's Shake, rattle, and roll? Come on, you should know. It's 50s.
Dude, I wasn't even born yet. Dude, my mom was a little girl during the 50s. I mean, come on now.
Just saying.
I'm not that old.
Hey, when I was a kid, the 50s was the 50s. If you were in your 50s, you were born in the 50s.
No, well, when I was the 50s, let's see, when I was growing up, the 50s were oldie when I was growing up, because my parents were from the 60s. They were 60s era. They were hippie.
No, so were mine.
So,
they weren't hippies, but...
No, mine were hippies.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so I would give this beer, I'm going to say probably a 1.5, which is actually pretty good. I do like this. I'm debating like a 1.75, but I'm thinking more 1.5, because I'm thinking of some of the 1.75s we had in the past and comparing them. So I'm going to do this because I'm biased on the brewery, because I've had their beer before. Okay.
And I usually avoid it because it's something I know I like.
Oh, okay.
So usually it's the blue. So this one's green.
I wonder if it's blue might be different. I don't know.
It is. Okay. They've got a ton of them. So the blue one's the one I usually get that I really like.
Okay.
You know me, a 2 is a very difficult thing for me to give out. So,
I don't know if we've ever given a 2 to anything.
We've done a couple.
Have
2s.
we?
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
We've done it. It's rare. So, because I always do this.
Hey, if we were doing a third tonight or we chose my other beer, I actually have a couple 120s. I know what I give it a 2.
I know you give the 120 the 2.
2.
But, so, I'm actually going to go 1 3/4 though.
1 3/4. Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Just because I can't give it a 2.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, this actually is really good. Germany's got its beer down. I mean, it really does.
Because I have a bias built into it, I have to take that into consideration.
Okay.
So I have to
in order to give it a 2, you have to say the name. And you have to say it. If you were ever give it a 2, you at least have to know the name. How do you say this name?
Here's my guess. Weinheinstefaner.
I've got a German friend. I'm going to have to ask, how the fuck do you say this name?
Yeah,
really, seriously. I mean... Okay, for our next beer, we have...
Hold on. I got to give the quote. The next beer is brought to you by... In honor of a movie that's coming out in August of 2020.
What movie?
Ooh. Ready for the quote?
Yeah.
Put them in the Iron Maiden. Oh. Iron Maiden. Woo!
Yeah, I like Iron Maiden.
Execute them. Bogus.
The number of the beast.
What movie?
What movie?
What movie?
For the number of the beast?
No. Put them in the Iron Maiden.
I don't know.
You gotta go. Whole context. Ready? Put them in the Iron Maiden. Hey.
Was that...
Execute them. Bogus.
Yeah. Bill and Ted's Adventure.
Woo!
Yes.
There we go. Bill and Ted 3.
I don't know what number or anything, but
Ready?
Bill and Ted.
No, it was the first one. It's when they go back to meet the princesses.
Okay.
And they get caught by the king because they're in the castle. And he looks at it and he tells his guards to put them in the Iron Maiden. And they go, Iron Maiden.
Excellent, dude.
And then the king goes, execute them. And they're like, bogus.
That's excellent.
Bill and Ted 3, August of 2020.
Is it really? They're going to Bill and Ted 3?
They're making a third one.
It can't be the same guys, though.
Yeah, it is.
Are you serious? It's actually going to be...
It's Keanu Reeves and... I always forget the guy with blonde hair. It's going to be Bill S. Preston and Ted Theodore Logan. And if you guys have not seen the meme, this should have been their meme of the day, or meme of the week, is the original TED Talk.
Oh, yes.
Ted giving his story speech.
In fact, it's funny when I think of TED Talk. There's actually a TED Talk next week at Burning Man. They do TED Talks now.
Do they really?
Yeah, every Burning Man I go to, they do TED Talk. Okay, just so you know,
Iron Maiden beer.
Yes, it's Iron Maiden beer. If you didn't get from all the clues,
red and black porter.
I gotta get up a little bit.
Out of Cheshire, England, alcohol is 6.8% by volume. It's called Trooper, limited edition, created by Iron Maiden.
I've actually had
by the Robinsons.
They have another one like a Pilsner or something. I've had it. I didn't like the Pilsner, just so you know. This beer I have not had. I was walking through and I saw it. I'm all, okay, the Trooper beer. I like dark beers. I mean, you know that. I love the dark beers. I want to try it.
So let's read the back. The color, it's not just black, it's red too. The red and black, or red and black, as I would say it. That's Bruce Dickerson.
Well, that's Iron. Yeah.
Trooper Red and Black Porter is the first dark beer in the Trooper ranks and a modern take on recipe dating back centuries. The red and black color comes from the blend of chocolate and crystal malt, which gives this full-bodied beer a roasted malt and caramel backbone. The Robinson yeast provides hints of both licorice and honey character to create a delicious warming brew. Designed yet again by Iron Maiden, vocalist and ale aficionado Bruce Dickerson, and the head brewer at Robinson's Brewery, Red and Black, takes its inspiration from the original Robinson's recipe from the 1850s, a time when porter-style beer was becoming increasingly popular in Britain. Ooh.
And that's kind of what I was looking at when I got this. I thought, it's from England, and England is masters at porters. I mean, they always have been. So,
what are you looking up?
Oh, we've got to. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Now we have. We're drinking Trooper beer, right?
Yeah. If we're doing what we think you're doing.
Yeah. Probably should just do it on the music thing, but
it's okay.
My stupid internet sucks. Disconnect it.
Are you playing the song?
Yeah.
I got it.
The Trooper? There you go.
We're probably going to get sued for playing this without rights. Hopefully it's so messed up that they can't really sue us for it, right?
I don't think you can. Could you? I don't know if you can, because we're playing it off like the radio. Maybe it's the radio playing in the background.
I do pay for my music, so...
There you go. So...
Dude. And we'll kill it before 30 seconds, right? Like, just in case there's some form of...
I actually read that one time, that 30-second rule.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's not true.
Oh.
For those of you that don't know Iron Maiden, dude, this is not bad.
No?
This is actually way better than their light beer. Their light is just bad.
Is it?
Yeah. In fact, I even I was in one of our chats for the game that we know that we play, and one of the guys in there.
It's very smooth.
It is. One of the guys in there actually loves. He likes Iron Maiden too. We sat there and talked about it. And I'm not going to say his name, but I mean it was. I can say Stitch. Yeah. So that's a game name. So, but anyway, Stitch. He had tried this too. He drinks a lot at Parkway Tavern also.
Oh, okay.
And we were talking about.
Does he go there? Well, he probably goes on the east side.
Yeah, he goes the one on the east side.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says this one is too white for him. The one I go to. So,
well, it's in Tivoli Village.
Yeah, so, I mean, he tells me, he actually said that. He goes, yeah, yours is too white for me. I can't go there.
He's white bread motherfucker. Shit.
He is. Stitch, if you're listening, because you knew we were doing this tonight, you just heard it. You're too white, man. You should be over here at Tivoli drinking with me.
You drive a Toyota. I love you, man. I do. Shout out. But you drive a Toyota.
Yeah.
And don't tell me Scion's not Toyota. It's still a Toyota.
But anyway, we were talking about the light beer, and he said the same thing. He goes, yeah, it's just not good at all. So apparently there's a new Jaeger out. He was saying that's Slayer. Slayer has their own version of Jaeger or something, or they're endorsing Jaeger, but it's only available in the UK.
Ooh, that sucks.
Yeah, because he's trying to get some.
So shout out to Slayer fans. Last show in Chicago, Riot Fest. Also, if you're in Chicago, go to Riot Fest. Holy shit, that lineup's sick.
Who's on it?
Oh my gosh, hold on.
You gonna pull it up?
Yep.
This is not bad. I'm gonna tell you at first, it started out really good, and it seems like it's becoming more like toasted as it goes. Now I know porters are more of a toasted beer, have that toasted flavor, but that's starting to come out the more you actually drink. That toasted flavor.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've caught that or not.
All right, people. Riot Fest. 15-year anniversary of this festival.
Well, that's been going on for 15 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
September 13th, 14th, and 15th, 2019.
Okay.
Your headliners. Blink-182, Slayer, Final Chicago and Milwaukee show, Bikini Kill, The Recanters, Rise Against, The Flaming Lips, Jawbreaker, Ween, Block Party, Diane Wood, Patti Smith and her band, Taking Back Sunday, Rancid, Violent Femmes, The Descendants.
Ooh, Violent Femmes.
Manchester Orchestra, The B-52s, Dashboard Confessional, and then it gets into everybody else. Story Joy for All, Anvil, The Struts, Against Me, Privis, Pennywise, the starting line, Coxbear, Streetlight Manifesto, Anthrax, Neck Deep.
Are you serious? Anthrax?
Anthrax will be there.
Nice.
Bob Mould, Hot Snakes, American Football, Guided by Voices, Ride, Lucero, Testament, Andrew WK, Census Fail, The Get Up Kids. Ready for this one?
Who?
Village People. Less Than Jake, Hot Water Music.
What? So we're gonna go from Anthrax to YMCA. I mean, come on,
Less
really?
Than Jake, Hot Than Water, Glassjaw, Guar, The Selector.
To Guar.
Yeah.
Okay, Village People to Guar. Are you serious?
Yeah. The Selector, Anti-Flag, Nick Lowell, Turnover, The Damn Things, Cursive, Turnstile, Surfer Blood, The Ergs, Safe
Just
Ferris.
the butthole surfers there, and we're all set.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. And then we get into Frankie Earl. There's probably a bunch of bands that we know, but yeah, like...
Where did somebody even think the Village People belong there?
Yeah, and they're not like a headliner. Look, they're like halfway down the list.
Well, of course. They shouldn't be a headliner, but I mean, come on.
But tell me that's you probably don't know.
No, it's a great lineup.
Like, you probably don't know most of these, but the fact that Bikini Kill's there, Slayer's there, the Recantors, like...
Anthrax. I'd love to see Anthrax again.
There. Against Me. If you guys haven't seen Against Me, like, go.
So...
Streetlight Manifesto is on my list to go see.
So tell you some of my
They're
past.
a ska band.
I'm driving by. This is when I lived in Corona. We were driving by. I was in a truck club back then. I was maybe 19, 20. So a buddy of mine, we were driving back from a truck club meeting, and I don't know if you know where Green River is. Green River Street off of...
Is that where the Showcase Theater is?
No, when you're going from Orange County into Riverside County, or from into Corona. From Anaheim
I've never come up from Orange County. I've only come down through Pomona.
Green River, there was, especially back then, there was nothing off of Green River. It was all farms out there, right? Well, there was this little farm thing, whatever it is up there. There's a couple buildings. And we saw cars parked everywhere as we're driving back from OC into Corona. And I'm thinking, I wonder what's going on over there. We'd been smoking and drinking and everything, I mean, this is years ago. So we pull off, and I'm thinking, we got to check this out and see what's going on. So we park my truck. We walk up to the guy, and this guy's in a Jezebel shirt. Jezebel's was a nightclub I actually used to work next door to a few years even before that, when I was a manager at Wendy's, years before. And Jezebel's was next door, and I'm like, hey, dude, what's going on? And he goes, oh, there's some great bands playing. They're in between bands right now. And I go, bands? I've never seen anybody out here. This is cow country, dude. What is this place? He goes, oh, we set up a stage and everything. I'm like, well, who's coming on next? He goes, Metal Church. Mom, no shit. We were just listening to Metal Church in the car. I mean, we happen to be just listening to Metal Church, right? As we're pulling up, I'm all, no shit. He goes, yeah, and then the closing bands after that. I'm all, who's that? He goes, Anthrax. no way. And he goes, yeah. And I'm all, well, how do I get tickets? I want in. And he goes, dude, tell you what, I'm going to open this gate up. You just run into the crowd. I'm going to pretend like I'm chasing you. And I'm like, well, hell yeah. So I did. I ran into the crowd. Took off into the crowd. We got into the show for free. Got to hang out a little bit. So the pit starts, right? Well, my buddy's sitting there, and he's like, I am not getting into a pit. I'm in the pit. You know me in a pit. I mean, last year at Punk Fest, right? So I'm in the pit just having a great... People are coming out... This is back, in the early 80s. People are coming out just bloody as hell, and just, beat up and broken noses. Well, Anthrax comes on, and I saw this guy trying to climb a telephone pole. And the telephone wire hanging across, right? And you're not supposed to touch these things, right? And you know this, but you can see it's been clipped and all this. It's just a wire hanging in front of the stage. So I'm sitting there and watching him try to climb this pole, and he can't make it up. And I'm looking at my buddy, and I'm like, I bet I can climb this sumbitch. And he's like, no way. That's just stupid. And I'm like, fuck that. I walked over there. I climbed that damn pole. I'm hanging from the wire in front of the stage, right? Security's running up underneath at this point. Drop down on top of everybody, squish a few people, run into the crowd again, and everybody's like, he's like, dude, you're fucking crazy. And I'm like, well, hell yeah. The next morning, I regretted it. I woke up, I had splinters all up and down my arms and legs, and of course my wife's looking at me going, the hell did you do? And I told her, and she goes, that was pretty damn stupid. And I'm like, yeah, looking back, it really was. That was pretty dumb. That would have been weeding out stupid people at that point in time, had something happened, because that was dumb.
But again, freedom.
Yeah.
Should have weeded you out.
So, I'm telling you, man. Well, I saw the wire was cut and stuff, so, I knew it was okay. But still, I could have easily fallen. I could have, didn't care, man. So, I'd been drinking, smoking, having a good old time, slam pit, getting in the moment. Conforming to the people there.
Yep.
That's exactly what I was doing. And then I was unconforming because I was going even beyond what they're... Because I'm kind of crazy anyway.
Well, then you were just trying to be the cool guy at the show. How many stories are told about you by other people that are there?
I have no idea.
Probably a lot.
You think so?
If they're still alive.
Yeah, if they haven't killed themselves yet. Doing something stupid.
I don't know. Baby boomers.
Yeah, I was at a show one time. This dude climbed the telephone pole and freaking dropped all the way down. Yeah, it was awesome. He squashed the shit out of me.
Hey, it's okay in life. I figured if I hadn't made it by 25 as a professional skateboarder, snowboarder, life was over. But then I had one hope, 27 Club. But then I didn't die at 27.
Oh. You know what's amazing? Yep. Were you one of those guys in high school? I remember this. Most of my friends, because I was the crazy guy. I always have been. I'm the guy that's like, if I see something that looks crazy, I'd want to go do it. And I've read about people like this, of course, through the years that, you're on that brink of, you're doing something that's so crazy it puts you on the brink of death, it's a high. And right. I've really been that way my whole life, right?
Adrenaline junkie,
yeah. So, anyway, I was the guy in high school that most people said would never make it to 25. Majority of my friends said that. Everybody I knew said, they're like, you're not ever going to live past 25, dude. You're going to be the guy we're going to read out in the paper, or our first 10-year reunion we're going to have the memorial for. I was that guy.
I was not.
And here I am in my 50s.
Yeah. I was not that guy.
No? You were the conservative guy.
Yeah, but I was also the guy into skateboarding and snowboarding.
See, but snowboarding wasn't popular when I was in high school.
The snowboarding came around, that hit with me. I literally watched the development of small kickers and building them on the side of the hips to 100-foot tables to now it's ridiculous. But I was the guy that loved going, got good enough to be able to compete at an AM level, nothing crazy, nothing professional, but then didn't go farther. I shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? I could have pushed myself at that AM status and kept competing, but I opened up a skate shop instead. It was a choice, right? Open up a business or continue competing.
But the business is the smart decision. Maybe not in the long run because it didn't work out, but at the time it was, I think, the smarter thing to do.
Well, so at the time, right, you go back to it, was it the smart... In a long-term aspect, it gave me experience in development in developing my career and giving me stuff that I would have never had.
Yep.
Going into snowboarding, it's a bigger risk going snowboarding-wise because very few are going to make it to that pro level where you're going to have any money.
Yeah.
So if I would have kept going, but I got to a level where I could
there's not a whole lot of Shaun Whites in the world.
Yeah. To make that kind of money.
Yeah.
But, I got to the level where I was competing at least at an AM level, where I was riding with guys who I never saw any of their names come up professionally, but I'm sure some of them probably got pro with some smaller sponsors and still competed because and that was the hard part for me, snowboarding. I ride with people now who are like, damn, you're good. But I rode with guys that I remember my friend Eugene, he moved to Mammoth, started riding for Matt Hammer. And our friend Matt, I was talking to him, he's like, Eugene's nuts now. I remember seeing him a year after he moved to Mammoth. Cold. First run of the day, 90-foot kicker that Mammoth used to have set up in the middle of the run.
Mm-hmm.
Switch, backside 900 rodeo. Cold. First run of the day, drop in, hit the fucker.
Wow.
And spin. Right? Like, that's the guys that I rode with.
But in order to be pro, you had to be that way though too.
To get to that level.
Yeah.
But that's the problem, right? Like, you talk about being nuts. I ride with people like, damn, you're good. My problem is I rode with guys who were that good.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I never got to that level. That level is something that's, like, my friend JD, who was coaching my friend Mike, like, JD was nuts. Like, JD was balling. But I never got to his status. But I got to ride with him, and he would push me to the next level. So I got good enough to ride on big stuff, but never to that level.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's a different level, right? Like, you talk about being that extreme guy that did crazy stuff. I never grew to that because I had a different opportunity.
Yeah.
And I chose to go that route instead of
it's interesting because snowboarding, when snowboarding became popular, 90s more, this.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
It was really, like, Sean really helped.
Probably mid 90s, it was really starting to take off. I saw it. This is the way, when I first saw snowboarding come out, I tried skiing, and I have cankles. For those of you who don't know, I have cankles. I mean, it's putting those snowboard boots on, or not snowboard boots, but the ski boots.
Yeah.
I tried it. It was like they were just uncomfortable. I couldn't ski. Would have loved to have done it. But when snowboarding came out, they were the guys on the mountain that nobody liked.
Right.
Skiers hated snowboarders. For me, being a punk rocker, I'm going.
Well, there was a drawing to it.
There's a risk, and I get to be the rebel. Oh, hell yeah, man!
So fun fact for all you kids out there, right? Anyone in their 20s, pretty much, you have no idea the hatred that snowboarders once dealt with on a mountain.
Oh yeah,
half, if not 75% of the skiers. When I was riding as a snowboarder, half the mountains you couldn't ride.
Yeah,
you couldn't. Literally, they would not let us snowboard on the mountain.
I wouldn't anyway. They'd just get mad, get kicked off.
Well, no. Like, there were mountains they wouldn't even let you on the. Like,
there were some mountains that you couldn't even go on.
No. There were mountains where you couldn't get with the lift ticket.
Yeah, the resorts.
They were not going to let you go up.
Yeah.
Like, you kids today have no idea the struggle that the generation before you went through. Yeah. Like, the knuckle dragger 2-planker thing was real.
Yeah.
Like, you may hate surfers for localism, but the snowboarding, like, the generation that fought for your rights to snowboard on mountains that you would never be on.
Yeah.
Never. Like,
yeah, it was us.
Oh, they put up with some shit.
You know what I always loved too? It was like a punk rocker. I would go, and for me, I still have them all. Was crazy hats. You remember that? All the crazy beanies, all the other stuff you'd wear.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you guys were stupid.
No, we did that. When we first started snowboarding.
No, hey.
That was part of snowboarding when you first started boarding. You would have all this weird shit. Or wigs or...
Right, well, it was bright pants. It was the neon.
Yeah.
Like, and it was bringing those 80 ideals into the 90s.
For me, I never did the 80s. I wore the black because of being a
right, in the 80s. But they took the neon of the 80s and they brought it into the 90s.
But that's what I mean. I didn't do the neon with the snowboarding. But I would do the crazy, like... The beanie that was 5 feet long, waving in the wind, or the crazy wig.
Who you kidding? You still do that shit.
Yeah, you're right, man. But I mean, I would do that snowboarding because it stood out, and that was part of boarding. And then you get down to the end, and what was funny is much of the time, because I took up snowboarding. I mean, when I first started snowboarding, I was probably closer to 30. That was old for snowboarding at the time. And I was one of the older guys snowboarding, and people would look at me like, and I'm dressed like this and snowboarding, and there's these skiers everywhere, and they're looking at me like, what are you doing, man? You should be skiing, What the hell are you doing? I'm like, I tried that. I didn't like that. This is fun. And then when I started boarding in shorts, especially in SoCal, I'd board in shorts in springtime. People really look at me weird. I was like, here's the thing. Don't fall down and you don't have to worry about it.
Well, it's funny. I watched a documentary a couple years ago. I think it was Transworld did it on the Unbound Snowboard Park at Bear Mountain with the development of it.
Yeah.
I miss that, which is funny. To me, it's funny.
Bear Mountain was great.
Right. But it was only a couple years. Like, I started really heavily riding 96, 97 season.
Okay.
So we're talking 20 years ago, 21 years ago, right? Holy shit. Damn, I'm old. But,
96 was a long time ago, dude.
It was. But 21 years ago is when I really got into it. And it was like 93, 94 when the guys really developed the Unbound.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't miss the heyday of SoCal snowboarding that really helped build that foundation for what it is today. But from a minute, I always used to look back and feel like I missed the punk rock movement, right? Because I didn't get into punk rock really until that same time, 95, 96. So it really missed the heyday. It missed the heyday of skating. It missed the heyday of punk rock, the originals, the 80s.
Yeah.
The 80s guys. It missed all of that. So I felt
to miss it, no, because you'd be as old as me if you wanted
to live through that, right?
See, I lived through it, and I was part of it.
You lived through the late 70s, early 80s. Those when Black Flag was Black Flag, when the Descendants first came around, when these guys were younger.
Flag was there last weekend too, right?
Yeah,
Flag.
They're not allowed to.
They can't say it, but they
say
still. Yeah,
but it's all the original guys except for a couple of them.
Yeah,
but it's the whole name thing, right? They can
cares?
Be a flag.
They're still playing the music. They're still there.
But this is the majority of the band,
yeah.
the original band. It's Keith
and I saw that too, and I'm like, oh man, I want to go. I want to see
Flag
them.
was with Rancid, and everyone raved about Flag being awesome.
Did they really?
Yeah.
That was the night I thought about going with Saturday.
See, I was never a huge Black Flag fan, so I've never. But I want to see they're not on a list, but I'd love to see them. But I've also saw Rancid. I saw Rancid in '94. That's how old I am, people. '94 is when I saw Rancid, with Metallica, nonetheless. Lollapalooza. But
the first time I saw Metallica, 1989. Becky saw him in '85. My wife.
Wow.
She saw him in '85.
She saw him super early.
Yeah, when they were first they opened. She said it. She said it was the best band. She didn't know who they were. She went to the concert to see Ozzy.
And Metallica opened for
him.
And
Metallica opened for Ozzy. And she said Metallica blew Ozzy away. And she went to see Ozzy.
Yeah.
Because during this time period, I was a punker. So, I didn't know her then and when she went and saw him. But she was always been into metal. She got into metal. Me, I wasn't into metal. It was like, I'd listen to some of it, but I was more punk new wave back then because punk was kind of morphing into the new wave back at that time.
It was all branches of
B-52s, some of that was coming because that was new wave. So
Devo.
Talking Heads, Devo, some of that. So I would listen to a lot of that stuff. And then she was into the punk, and then not punk, but the heavy metal. And then, of course, when I met her, I'm like, this metal's not too bad. On dates, I'd take her to some metal, metal concerts and stuff. And she can get in a concert back then for $10. Nowadays, it's freaking hundreds. But back then we had to buy tickets for $10 a piece, and that was a date. And I'm like, this band's not too bad. Now I liked Van Halen back then, some of those bands, rock bands, but I wouldn't have called them heavy metal. They were rock. So, dude, you finish that?
Yep. Normally you finish him before me. No, but going back to the snowboard thing, with the punk thing I missed, but I really got to watch the development of snowboarding.
Yeah.
I got to watch it from pretty much the ground with the patch pants and the big.
Well, it kind of started in the 80s, though, with Burton. Burton kind of started it more in the 80s, but it really didn't take off till the 90s.
Well, if you want to give Burton credit, you can give a lot of other people credit. That's a whole other conversation to watch it. But the wide 26-inch stance that was stupid coming in.
My first board was a Burton. Paid like $500 for that fucking board back then.
Listen, Burton's still king of the mountain. It's Burton. But watching the development of snowboarding, I feel like I missed out on things, but then I have to remember, I was at that ground level, and I had to watch snowboarding really build up.
Yeah.
I had to watch those pioneers, guys like Craig Kelly. Like, I remember watching and reading about Craig Kelly winning contest, and then him passing the torch pretty much to Terje. And Terje and Todd Richards, that little battle between them, which they had a Twitter beef a couple years ago, which is funny to me. But, it's just like, I didn't miss out on that. Like, I got to watch the development of that, And then and really in skateboarding, I got to watch the next evolution. Like, I got to see Tony Hawk do his 900. I got to watch the development of Danny Way becoming Danny Way, and DC becoming DC, and Rob Dyrdek becoming Rob Dyrdek, and all these guys. But it's been kind of cool, like, when I think about it.
There it is. So, I was trying to think of the name of this band. I've got him in a thing. So, my son and I were out there one time on that mountain high. We were up at
Snow Valley.
Not Snow Valley. The next one up, Snow Summit.
Snow Summit.
We're at Snow Summit. This is in early 90s. And this band was playing out on the patio at lunchtime. They'd get bands that would play on the patio, right? And at the time, I'm like, what the fuck are these guys, They're pretty good, though. We were eating lunch. We're like, these guys aren't bad. We sat and listened. Didn't even know who they were until a couple years later when they really hit it. Limp Bizkit. They were at Snow Summit playing on the frickin' patio at lunchtime.
Ready for this? Here's my fun fact about Limp Bizkit. So everybody loves to say America's soft, and America's a pansy, and we don't like anything. Limp Bizkit's still selling millions of records. If America was soft, Limp Bizkit would not be selling those type of records.
No.
Okay.
Not with songs like Break Stuff, which is one of my favorites from them.
Hey, Limp's still making money, and Fred Durst, God bless you. Like, still holding strong.
Where are they from? They're from Bakersfield or Barstow, I thought. Florida. I thought they were Bakersfield or Barstow.
You would think, right? Like,
I thought they were.
You think they would be a 909 band.
Yeah.
They're not. I think it's... Hold on.
Are you serious?
I just looked it up.
Because I remember his tattoo artist was in San Diego, down at SD.
It might be, but...
I thought his tattoo artist was San Diego. And they were from Bakersfield, I thought. Which would make complete sense, for what they sing. I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought that's what I heard or read.
Jacksonville, Florida.
There you go. Okay.
They're from the same town as Tim Tebow.
Wow. Wouldn't have expected that.
Thank you, Limp Bizkit, for redeeming Jacksonville out of Tim Tebow's hands.
Hey, we're at like an hour and 15 minutes, man. We've gone way over what normally.
We really have. And we still don't have a freaking comment. Come on, trolls.
But this is the reunion show, so...
This is true. No one knew we were going to be here.
Anyway, let's rate this beer. Trooper. Iron Maiden. Yeah.
Everyone go see Bill and Ted in August 2020.
Yeah, you know what came out last night?
Huh.
Godzilla.
I heard. Yeah, I
want to go see it.
John Wick 3 came out too, and I haven't seen that yet.
I told Godzilla started last night at midnight. I told Becky about it. I said, I'm going to go see Godzilla tonight. She's like, yeah, I'm going to bed. I'm like, come on, it's Godzilla. She's like, no, I'm going to bed.
We could have done that tonight, but you know what? I'm glad we did this because it's been a long time.
Yeah. Godzilla's cool, though. Rodan.
Whatever. So, Iron Maiden always reminds me of Bill and Ted. Wow, I don't drink enough
anymore. I don't know how that reminds you. It never reminded me of Bill and Ted, but okay. But I grew up with Iron Maiden in high school, so...
I grew up with Bill and Ted.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, Bill and Ted's cool, though.
God bless him.
Yeah.
God bless him. I will always remember Keanu Reeves. Wild Stallions.
They were like the first podcast ever. Bill and Ted, you know what? We got to give podcasting tribute to Bill and Ted. Think about it. They're the first podcast ever.
No, it would go to the guys from Strange Brew.
Oh.
It would go to the guys from Strange Brew. They started
was that movie older? Maybe it is.
Oh, yeah, that was the 80s. Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yes.
Strange Brew.
Oh, I watched that movie like a month ago.
It's so funny.
I saw that.
So
I'm
good.
like, oh my God, that movie is hilarious.
Beer jelly donuts.
I'm even trying to think. I'm trying to think of even some lines from it, but I don't even remember. But it was. I do.
Hey, you hoser! Hey, hey, are you guys going out? Hey, bring us back some jelly donuts.
Hoser.
You hosers! Hey.
The dog's name's Hoser, and remember the dog could fly. with the cape.
Remember Rick drank the whole canister of beer to save the festival?
Yes.
But then he had to go pee somewhere else.
Well, he put a fire out with the pee.
Oh, that's what he did.
Yeah, the factory was on fire, so he's pissing the fire out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we got an idea.
If you guys haven't seen Strange Brew, now you got to watch it.
Yeah, it's so funny. Fun fact: Rick Moranis won't act anymore. They did a charity tribute. And he showed up in his role for Strange Brew with Dave Thomas.
Oh wow!
But so I didn't realize this. The comedy special in Canada that they got their start on is where Mike Myers and Dana Carvey got their start from Wayne's World.
Well, that makes sense.
So
I mean, it really does.
Canadians and the Canadians.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, right? You get Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis. Then you got Bill and Ted. Then you got Wayne and Garth. Right? Like it kind of... I know it's not all rock and roll,
these
but...
guys are the pioneers for podcasting. They really are. They're like the pioneers.
David...
Think about it.
The Strange Brew guys?
Yeah. Well, all three of them.
I think it was the McKenzie brothers?
Yes, the McKenzie brothers.
McKenzie brothers.
All those guys you named, man, they're like the pioneers for podcasting, which is what we're doing. What they did back in the 80s and then 90s, you couldn't do even... We're doing a live podcast.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. They sat there with a video camera, their VHS video camera, recording themselves.
Hey, you hoser. Eating jelly donuts and drinking beer. Talking about hockey.
Freaking
Strange Brew talking about hockey. Wayne and Garth talked about rock and roll. Bill and Ted talked about rock and roll.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God, yeah,
it's hysterical. It's kind of funny when you watch the transition of like all of that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool.
Hey, rock and roll lives forever, man.
It does.
It's going to. All right, Trooper beer. All right, Trooper red and black porter.
Yep.
From England.
Cheshire, England.
I'm not going to rate this one as high as the last. I actually think the last one was better.
I agree.
I'm torn between a 1 and a 1 1/4 on this one. I would rate. Honestly, their other one, I've had it, so I'm going to give you a rating on it. I would do like a 0.75 on their previous one, their lighter beer.
Wow.
I did not like it.
That's low.
Yeah. I'm going to go, this one though, I would do like it started out really good. Good flavor. It
didn't finish strong?
It didn't finish strong. It turned toasty after that, which I get. A porter's supposed to be toasty. As a fan of porters, I think that's what it's supposed to do. And then after a while, it turned kind of dry. So it kind of changed for me as it went. It became kind of monotonous to finish. I felt towards the end. So it wasn't like enjoyable every single one. Yeah. Whereas some of the dark beers, even like so the crowd, just so you know, like a Guinness is my go-to. Guinness is not, by the way, a dark beer. In essence, it's not a stout or a porter. Guinness is actually, an ale.
Right.
So, but I love stouts and porters. That's what I love. I would probably rate this one. I'm going to go 1 1/4.
Okay. So I have to get through the fact that I'm feeling the beer. I don't drink anymore. My life does not allow it. So, barring that, right?
Okay.
Like even realizing it's not that great. Normally, when you're starting to feel tipsy, everything starts to taste like gold. Mm-hmm. I think you put a Natty Ice in my hand, I should be just like...
You probably love a Natty Ice. Natty Ice, fucking so greatest beer ever. No, Natty Ice is like...
right, so...
It's like drinking beer spritzer.
Taking that into account.
Okay.
Right? Like, I need to take into account that my taste buds are a little tainted. Like, I was biased on the other one, but now I got alcohol in me. So now...
But that should almost give you a little bit more, I think. If you really think about it, it should give you more of a flavor palate.
It does, but it taints your mind, right? Because you don't want to talk negatively about it.
Well, yeah.
So, in trying to be honest...
Think of it compared to other beers you've had, other dark beers.
It has more flavor than other dark beers.
Okay.
So I will give it that, because usually dark beers can be just dark.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like the burnt coffee taste. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was not that. This actually had flavor. Like, there was actually flavor to it. So I will give it credit for that. So I don't want to go too low.
It does have a nutty taste to it, which it's supposed to have. You know, most of your porters have that kind of nutty kind of...
And it has that twist of red. Like the flavoring's still there.
Yeah, I would still taste a little bit of red.
The flavor's still there.
You know what? That's probably the flat that I'm tasting it. Remember,
I told you the red flavor.
Yeah, I bet you as I never thought about that.
It's the red.
As it got monotonous. I remember the word monotonous. I bet you that's the red trying to mix with that nutty kind of.
Correct. It's blending.
Yeah.
So then, on that case, I'll give it a 1/4.
Okay.
I'm not going to go super high,
but I'll go
1/4.
So same as me.
Yeah. So both of them got 1/4.
That's cool. No, I would not rate this. I like porters. Porters are good. I like dark beers. I like stouts. Stouts are one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well, you're the dark beer guy. I'm not.
I love stouts.
I love my Mexican beers. So, although I had some Modelo's at Punk Rock Bowling, and they tasted like garbage.
Did they really?
Yeah, and they were on draft. Now I've only had Modelo out of a bottle, so having it off draft.
Have you tried
terrible.
Negro Modelo?
I have.
Negro Modelo's that's a good beer.
See, but I don't like darks. That's why I don't like it.
Yeah, Negro Modelo's good. That's a good beer just to sit and have but you can't drink a lot of those because they do kind of weigh on you. Some of the dark beers, people always say this, you get full, and you get full.
Right, but that's like when we were in Mexico. I just drank my Pacificos.
Pacificos are good. Sol, Pacifico.
But Pacifico and Mexican water, just so you know, Pacifico in America, okay. Pacifico in Mexico with Mexican water?
Oh yeah. Bomb. Oh, so yeah. Yeah, it's not triple filtered down in Mexico. It's a guy.
Listen, I know you're all scared of Mexican water.
It's Jose peeing in the beer as he's making it.
It's damn good.
It tastes so good, man.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Jose piss is good.
If you hate Mexican beer, with the exception of Tecate, Tecate is Tecate wherever you go.
Kind of is, actually. You know what? You say that. You go to Mexico, Tecate is like Tecate. I don't care. Tecate Light, you can throw all that shit and flush it down. I don't care if you're here in Mexico or wherever you're. Tecate Light, just stop making this shit. It's just the most terrible beer in the world.
So can I give you a fun fact, tangent real quick?
What's that?
So, the Canelo fight that happened on Cinco de Mayo weekend.
Okay.
So I worked it, and I was selling beer. I was talking it. Tecate was the sponsor of the fight.
Okay.
So, of course, like, if you go to a UFC event, Modelo sponsors it, so everyone buys Modelo. Tecate was sponsoring the Canelo fight. Everyone was buying Tecate. Everybody wanted Tecate. Even though...
I'd ask why.
They'd come up to me and be like, "Do you have any Tecate?" I'm like, "I got Jalisco."
Jalisco's not
I got Jalisco
bad.
Estrella. Estrella Jalisco, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a decent beer.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's better than Tecate.
Yes.
It's the same price as Tecate. Okay?
And they were drinking Tecate.
And they wanted Tecate. Now, granted, Tecate came with a special cut. Still not worth it. People, you really buying Tecate over a cup?
Dude, have you been to Mexico? You've been to Mexico.
Yeah.
Well,
Remember us getting the tequila coffee with our 2 margaritas?
Remember Tecate, actually in Mexico is not that popular unless you're around Tecate. Have you, you've never been to the city of Tecate.
I have not.
Okay, the city of Tecate is actually a beautiful city. It's actually not bad. Right on the border. It's not too bad. Great place to buy pottery. If you ever want pottery or some of the
cheap.
Yeah, real cheap. All outside Tecate. It's really nice to buy that. Even when I've stopped in Tecate at the bars, they weren't drinking Tecate.
No.
In Tecate, they're not drinking Tecate.
So fun fact, if you pull...
In fact, I was drinking Negro Modelo at a bar because that was their special, was Modelo. They had Modelo and Negro Modelo there, so I drank them in Negro. But, I mean, in Tecate, they weren't drinking Tecate, which kind of surprised me.
So we looked at, me and a friend, we looked at the top 10 beers in the world for the number 1 seller. 5 of the top 10 are China beers.
Really?
So China's a population of a few billion people.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
They just win by their sheer numbers.
By default. So we pulled the China beers out.
Okay.
So if you pull the China beers out, what do you think the number 1 beer in the world is?
Probably, it's either going to be Coors or Budweiser.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. There you go. Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. Marketing. It's marketing. And you know what? Actually, for years and years, my go-to beer was Bud Light. It was Bud Light for years. I wouldn't drink Coors Light. I did Bud Light.
Yep. So people, my second job is working with a beer vending company. So I've learned the insights of beer. So one of the places I work out is a Bud House. Okay. The other place where I work out is Coors House. but they still sell Bud.
Coors sells Bud.
I don't think they have the power to not.
Okay.
Okay.
Does Bud sell Coors?
No.
That's funny.
No. No. You walk into the Bud House, there is no Coors. Okay.
But you go into the Coors house and you got
Bud product. But if you go into the Coors house, there is Bud product.
That's funny as hell.
Okay. The top 2 beers in both places are Bud Light, number 1. You will sell more Bud Light than anything else. Your second seller? Take a wild guess what your second seller is.
Coors Light.
Nope. Michelob Ultra.
Are you serious? Oh, yeah, the women. Women.
No, it's dudes.
Really?
It's dudes.
I would have thought the women.
No.
Wow.
It's dudes. Now.
Maybe they're buying it for their women then.
No.
Really?
It's because, think about how many guys work out. Because have you ever had any of those low-calorie beers?
Actually, the Ultra's not bad.
Ultra, you'll actually feel a buzz on. The rest of them, you won't feel a buzz. So Ultra's like that perfect beer where you can drink and still feel a buzz. Like, you still feel like you're drinking alcohol.
If you do want to drink light, Ultra's
the way to go.
Bad. Yeah, okay, I've been there where I want to drink light.
Yeah.
Watching the girlish figure, kind of doing that. Yeah. And, I've been there.
Bud, Ultra, and then Coors.
We were, endorsing a lot of damn beers tonight. Not just our 2, but we're doing a lot. That's all right.
But when you start selling it and you start realizing the buying habits of people... Now, the Canelo fight, I took out 4 beers. Bud Light, Ultra, Jalisco, and Tecate. We sold out of Tecate.
Actually sold out.
So, yeah. So, Canelo fought out here in Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. The company I work for sold out of Tecate. I think pretty much the whole arena sold out of Tecate. It was gone. Just gone. And then it was followed by Jalisco, Ultra, or Bud Light. All I took out was those 3 beers.
It's interesting because years ago, I remember this. I bartended at the racetrack for a festival. I was out there. I was bartending.
Which one? Corona or
no, the race.
Sanita?
The race. The
Pomona.
No, here in. Oh my God, sir. Sorry. Here in Vegas.
Oh, the Speedway.
The Speedway.
Oh, okay.
So for the NASCAR.
Yeah.
So I was bartending at NASCAR for one of the events, and they had a full bar. So I was one of the bartenders for the full bar. And we were a Crown booth, but we had everything.
Right.
So Crown was a special, and it was actually really cheap. It was like $6
a shot.
Whatever. No, not just a shot. Whatever you wanted with Crown. It was like,
wow.
Just as long as if you order a drink with Crown in it, it was $6. If you want a Crown shot, it's $6. Anything else like that was $8.
Wow.
At the time. Beers were, $5-6, whatever they were. And we had my wife was doing the beer, and then I was doing full bar because I was licensed to do full bar and do mixing as that. She was doing the beer, and Bud Light was the first to go. And right after that, it was kind of everything went at one time. So you mentioned Bud Light. It was our booth ran out of everything by the time it was done. We had so many cases, it was unbelievable. We figured the money we made, we mixed, personally, each one of us mixed 2,000 or 3,000 drinks in like that 4-hour period. It was insane what we all mixed. People are coming up, you're just like, I'll have this. How many do you want? You want this? And you're just like mixing ahead of time because we didn't cashiers, bartenders. We didn't have to, they didn't want, of course.
You were just making the drinks.
Yeah, we don't touch money because money's dirty, so you don't want to touch it, right? So we're just doing drinks. And as we're doing this, I'm like, got just tons of drinks, shaking, doing all this shit at one time. That was fun. It was fun. And you're only doing it for 6 hours, 5-6 hours, whatever it was we were doing it, where we sold everything. We had nothing. I think by the time we were done, we had like a case of Jack Daniels left. And that was it.
Let me tell you, all sports arenas are. Sports arenas, baseball stadiums, racetracks, these giant sports events. Here's why cities want them. They're giant bars.
Yeah.
Okay, having worked at both T-Mobile and the Aviator Stadium now, I haven't worked at the Speedway yet, but talking to the guys who have worked at there, they're giant bars. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all they are. That's all. They are a distribution for alcohol. The SEC today announced they will now allow schools to to make the decision if they're going to sell alcohol or not.
Schools. You're talking colleges.
Colleges.
Okay.
But the SEC, it's colleges.
Yeah.
But they're going to now allow the colleges to make the choice if they want to sell alcohol or not. Because the amount of money those places make in alcohol sales is stupid. It is.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I get it. We're in Vegas. We have the Golden Knights. They sell out every game. Okay? It's 18,000 people a night for 42 nights. Can't tell you the dollar amount. It's stupid.
Oh, yeah. What the bars earn? Yeah, it's insane.
And here's the kicker. In Vegas, a beer at a Knights game will cost you $15 to $16.
See, and that's just stupid. I'm sorry, that's just stupid.
And the amount of alcohol they sell is absurd.
It's just stupid.
Now, if you go down south or you go outside of Vegas or California,
it's a lot less, yeah.
It's like $7-8 a beer.
Yeah.
You will literally pay twice as much, and they sell a shit ton of it.
Yeah, the NASCAR event that I did, it was for my daughter. Her high school band sponsored an alcohol booth there.
Okay.
Get this, a high school sponsoring an alcohol booth.
But they probably did it as a fundraiser, right?
They did it as a fundraiser.
And they got a percentage of the sales.
Yes, they do. They get a big percentage of
right.
it.
And it's worth it.
And all the bartenders, they want experienced bartenders. They want people that know what they're doing. And, of course, you got to get licensed in the state to serve alcohol and all that. So I went through the licensing. I've done the bartending in the past. My dad owned a bar. So I've done that. And then, so we got licensed here. My wife and I got licensed to do the alcohol. And then they were like, do you know how to mix drinks? Well, yeah, I can do that. You know, I've done this before. You're the guy up front. So there was two of us mixing drinks. The amount I could not believe how much alcohol we sold.
At $10-12 a drink.
Yeah, it was, well, we brought out, in the morning, we had to stock the bar. We had to get everything going, right? And we had a bar back bringing our drinks up, which was good because there's no way you can keep up. You know, if I didn't have a bar back, I'd be screwed.
Yeah, you're just selling the whole time.
So the back of the bar, the tent we were in, the amount of alcohol and just cases of beer and liquor and the mixers and all that were back there. When we first stocked it up in the morning, and because we had to get there a couple hours before, get the bar ready. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, there is no way in hell we are selling all this. And one guy looked at me, he goes, "You've never worked this show before, right?" And I'm like, "No. A bartender, but I've never done the show." And he goes, "Yeah, wait till the end." I'm like, dude, if we have to make that many drinks, we're going to need like an army of bartenders up here to do it. He goes, "No, there's two of you." I'm just like, holy crap.
So I'm kind of upset I don't get to work the next UFC fight. By the way, shout out. So if you're looking for a second job and you live in a town with a sports team, go sell beer. No joke. You want to make some good money. You just work tonight at the event. You get to watch the event. There's a cutoff before the end of the event's over. And you make good money. Like, if you're looking for a second job, go to your local arena and go hawk some beer. Like, you get tipped. Plus, you sell a bunch of beer. You make a commission off the beer.
Probably need a lot of neat people, too, I'm sure.
You really do. And so it's like, it's cool in Vegas. Like, there's some locals that know who their local, all the vendors who sell in the seats, they've got locals who know them.
Oh, yeah.
So they expect certain guys.
Especially when you start getting at the season seats.
Right. Like, they work certain sections, so these guys know who they are, and they always tip them, and they know what they are, and you bring. It's actually a really cool second job. And if you're looking for one, go to an event. If you can't find who runs it, buy a ticket, go to an event,
you probably find out. Yeah.
You will find the manager of the venue who's talking about the guys in the seats. They're always walking around. You can find them. And get a ticket, get a job at an arena selling some beer. Like, I don't know about, the people who usually work in the back of the house. The stands is a little different, but the guys actually in the seats, you make some good money. But it's crazy. Like, I'm kind of bummed I'm not going to be here for the next UFC fight.
Hey, all right,
July 6th.
Hey, we're at oh my God, we're an hour and 40. We have never gone an hour and 40.
We've done an hour and a half, though.
Yeah, we've done an hour and a half. You know what? I want to close this out, and I'm hoping that Mike and I can get back together pretty soon. And
we gotta find a schedule.
Yeah, figure out a schedule and kind of keep this going. Maybe we'll go into my other basement next time. I got a Jeep hanging and a bunch of other stuff. But figure out a schedule where we can sit and kind of do this regularly, because I miss doing this.
I do. We gotta get something going.
Drinking some beers and having a
even
good
if
time.
we got a video in to like make it work.
Yeah,
like find a way to make it work.
Figure something out. But anyway, everybody out there, you've heard our beers. You've heard it rated. We've talked a lot of bullshit tonight. A lot of.
Hey, real quick, Sam Houston whiskey. What do you think?
Oh, I love Sam Houston. I don't like it as much as I used to. I think they've sold it off. I haven't done the research yet.
0 to 2.
Well, if I was going to 0 to 2, 175.
175?
175.
All right, I'm going to go 125.
125. I do 175 on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go 125.
I've always liked Sam Houston.
Just real quick, I'm going to go 125 only because warm, it's real bad, but on ice, awesome.
Okay.
So, like, there's some whiskeys I've had where you're, like, smooth all the way through.
Well, remember, it's a whiskey, so whiskeys aren't as smooth as, like, bourbons. Bourbons are a little more smooth.
But at the same time, I want to be able to just drink my whiskey. So, that's why I'm knocking it to 125.
See, rating it as a whiskey, I would give it probably 175.
Okay.
So
nice. Real quick, I just want to shout out. That's the whiskey we were drinking throughout.
Yeah, we're doing Sam Houston.
Sam Houston whiskey. Just shout out. That's what we reviewed. Just want to put that out there.
Sam Houston used to actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but I used to buy Sam Houston years ago. I learned about them mid-90s, and back then they would come in a nice case. They were really expensive. All the bottles were numbered. They would do like 1,000 per year, and that was it.
Again, correct us if we're wrong. We're going off our memory, and we've been drinking. So
exactly. But they would do like 1,000, and it was awesome back then. Well, they've changed since then. They're not as good. They don't number the bottles. So I have a feeling that they've sold the distill off to somebody else.
Or they just went into mass production to make more money.
Maybe one or the other. Or they're buying from MGB now. I don't know. Whatever. You don't know how that works. We can explain that later on. But they could be buying from that. I don't know, but they have changed. They have changed from what they were. I would have probably given them like a 2 back then.
Okay,
but now with the changes, I've dropped it down.
Gotcha.
They're definitely not as good as they used to be, but they're still good. Still really, really good. Great on ice. Sit and sip it. It's a good little. It's a sipping whiskey.
It definitely is awesome sipping.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of whiskeys out there. Here we're doing a whiskey rating. There's not a lot of whiskeys out there that you sip. Most of them you shoot. This one or want to mix. This one you can do straight and just kind of sip it. So that's what makes it kind of a higher rating too.
Nice,
because you can't sip it. Anyway, everybody out there, I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave,
and we are beer drinkers with a
Bible Fetish.
Bible Fetish.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. You guys have a great night. We will all catch you later.
Definitely.
And hopefully have a double reunion tour or continue this on. Thanks for watching.
Absolutely. Have a good night, guys.